Hello, dear viewers. It is my pleasure to see you once again for this edition of the news in English on Rwanda Television. My name is Serge Hore. We'll begin with the headlines. The government of Rwanda has once again asked European countries to facilitate the extradition of wanted Rwandan criminals so that they may face justice for their actions, or at the very least ensure that they are trialed where they are. On Monday, on behalf of the Chief of Defense Staff, the RDF Army Chief of Staff, Major General Vincent Nyakarundi, along with the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of operations, CP Vincent Sano, saw off Rwanda's security forces heading to relieve their colleagues in Cabo Delgado, Mozambique. Exhibitors and visitors alike at the ongoing Expo Rwanda 2023 have been urged to take advantage of the innovations it is showcasing. Let us now take a look at the details. I'm glad you're able to join us. The government of Rwanda has once again asked European countries to facilitate the extradition of wanted Rwandan criminals so that they may face justice for their actions, or at the very least ensure that they are trialed in the countries in which they are. We have the details on that.
Most of the Rwandan suspects wanted around the world are on the run because of crimes they committed during the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. And so far, more than 1,100 arrest warrants have been issued to 33 countries across the globe. Around 90% of those suspects are hiding in African countries, but there are another 100 or so on European soil, especially in countries like France, Belgium, and the Netherlands, while a small number are in places like Norway, Sweden, Finland, Switzerland, Denmark, and others. Rwanda's Minister of Justice, who is also the country's Attorney General, has again called for their extradition, or at the very least trial in the countries they have taken refuge in, and the EU ambassador to Rwanda agrees.
The European Union works together with its member states, and the area that you mentioned is something that is followed up indeed by our member states' national administrations. So they are working together. The national EU member states prosecutors are working together with the government of Rwanda in joint investigations and in joint follow-up on those cases that remain open of fugitives in Europe. And you know that there are some cases open still in France. France is working very closely with the government of Rwanda in that regard. Prosecutors, investigative authorities, also with the International Tribunal of Residual Cases of the UN. So there's a close cooperation in that space to make justice.
On Monday, Rwanda and the EU signed an agreement of 19.5 million euros in grants, approximately 25 billion Rwandan francs, to the government of Rwanda and partner institutions, including the civil society, in a bid to strengthen the justice sector and propel reconciliation and human rights efforts in the country. The 19.5 million euro initiative will play a vital role in realizing the objectives set forth by Rwanda's Justice, Reconciliation, Law and Order Sector Strategic Plan for 2018 to 2024, aiming to enhance justice delivery, foster inclusivity, and reinforce human rights.
So the European Union and its member states have been partnering the government of Rwanda in the justice sector since the genocide against the Tutsi, and this is an area where we are proud to partner you in your efforts in support of the Vision 2050, in support to the National Strategy for Transformation, in support of Rwanda's objectives of justice, reconciliation, law and order sector strategic plan 2018-2024, and in support to the implementation of the Universal Periodic Review commitments on human rights.
The funding forms an integral part of the larger 260 million euro EU support package designed for Rwanda through its 2021 to 2024 multi-annual indicative program.
Now to security matters. On Monday, on behalf of the Chief of Defense Staff, the RDF Army Chief of Staff, Major General Vincent Nyakarundi, along with the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of operations, CP Vincent Sano, saw off Rwanda security forces heading to relieve their colleagues in Cabo Delgado, Mozambique. The contingent, led by Major General Alexis Kagame, is part of a larger relief force comprising of over 2,000 troops based in the Cabo Delgado province. Prior to their departure, Major General Nyakarundi emphasized the importance of upholding the highest level of commitment, discipline, dedication, and humility while serving the population of Cabo Delgado. This deployment is a result of the strong bilateral relations between the Republic of Rwanda and the Republic of Mozambique. Now to other security matters, but in the cyber realm. With cyber crimes on the rise globally, on Tuesday and Wednesday, Cybertech Africa 2023 will be convening here in Kigali to assess such threats. That is, to assess how such threats can be more effectively tackled on the continent. We have the details on that.
Officials in Rwanda's private sector federation have been urging their members to embrace technology, pointing out that the continent needs to develop in ICT along with the rest of the globe in order to have a fighting chance on international markets. And it is fast becoming evident that even the survival of private businesses, irrespective of how big or small they are, is quickly also becoming dependent on technology. The IT security experts in Kigali for this year's Cybertech Africa conference are looking forward to the discussions that will be held on the matter of data protection. Up to 3.4 million more cybersecurity experts are needed to effectively tackle the threats that exist online globally, with the third quarter of 2022 seeing 493 million attacks, 28% more than in the same period in 2021. 42% of those attacks targeted data from public and private institutions as well as individuals, and Rwanda was not completely immune from them, though measures are in place to safeguard the country's cyberspace.
One of the first activity that was done is to establish the National Cybersecurity Authority, which was established at the end of 2020, with the main responsibility to secure the cyberspace in Rwanda. So after that, we have the law that was established in 2021 on the protection of personal data and privacy. Through that law, the aim is to make sure that individuals' personal data is protected, and then we have to work together with different stakeholders to ensure that the law is complied with. The other activities that we've been involved in is running and conducting cybersecurity awareness campaigns, where we go out to the public and different institutions and groups of audience to raise awareness on different cyber risk or cyber threats that are possible, and how to protect themselves against those risks.
More than 2,500 delegates from around the world will be attending Cybertech Africa 2023.
Exhibitors and visitors alike are at the ongoing Expo Rwanda 2023 have been urged to take advantage of the innovations it is showcasing. The Expo was officially opened on Monday.
This year's Expo is technology that allows people to drive vehicles virtually. Driving a vehicle in real life means having to deal with other drivers, pedestrians and other road users, as well as traffic jams. But in this virtual world, none of that is a concern. It is certainly far less stressful this way. Exhibitors have also been greatly encouraged by how things are going. What we are exhibiting today is unique, as you can see for yourself, because we have changed the design of our products. We want people to stop going abroad for decorations and start buying more of ours right here in Rwanda. This is a good period for us to showcase our products to both Rwandans and foreigners, and not just visitors but other exhibitors as well. We have been receiving many people to our stand, and they love what we have for them, buying many of our things.
This is
the first time we have come here, and the experience is new for us, but I can certainly tell you that it will not be our last, because We have experienced the benefits firsthand. We were fortunate that even the minister came to take a look at our products here on our stand. The minister in question was not only impressed by what he saw in that particular stand, but by the expo in general. I remember the first time I went to the expo, though it did not take place here, or even others after it. I did not see RIB and the police giving presentations. That is certainly something new. I also did not used to see many young people with impressive innovations. I even saw shoes made in Rwanda by young people. I saw women with beautiful portraits. Before, most of the stands just had food and drink. Indeed, the National Police was present to remind the general public that the expo doesn't give people the license to break the law. When you drink less and drive, your alcohol level will still be checked by the traffic police to ensure that it really is less than the 0.80 the law requires. If it is more than that, you will be arrested. The expo changes nothing. Understand that everything that happens here, just like anywhere else, must abide by the laws and regulations in place. Expo Rwanda 2023 has 413 exhibitors, 118 of them foreigners from 20 other countries. It began on the 26th of this month of July and will end on the 15th of August.
Rwanda and the Global Fund are currently undertaking talks on an assessment to determine whether or not the Rwanda Revenue Authority has continued to meet required standards in the way it operates. The recent tax reforms the country has adopted have potentially helped to increase her rankings globally.
The purpose of the meeting today was to basically get our ecosystem ready for that peer review that will be conducted in October. So we have a team from the OECD Secretariat that have come to meet with key institutions and stakeholders to understand the progress that has been made so far and see how we can best support our ecosystem to be very prepared for the peer review in October. So many reforms have been made, especially to see how Rwanda not only maintains compliance to these standards, but also maintains its competitiveness as a jurisdiction, particularly when it comes to as a financial jurisdiction. And so when you look at now Rwanda transforming into a financial hub, which is the brand that is being termed the Kigali International Financial Center, this is critical because we're only able to maintain investor flows, particularly in the financial services industry, where a jurisdiction remains compliant. So this is really important that Rwanda maintains its compliance to these tax standards, and number two, that Rwanda remains competitive, a competitive jurisdiction for all investors aboard. And so it is of great importance, and we're very happy that key institutions have really taken it up, really to support in terms of policy reforms, but also the industry in terms of now its practical implementation.
Though Rwanda's past performances have been exemplary, officials at the Global Forum say there must be patience when it comes to determining the impact of the country's latest tax reforms.
It's only by Friday that we'll be in a position to give a sense of where Rwanda stands. But as I mentioned before, what we see currently is a lot of commitment, is that the country has taken steps to move on this agenda. I think Rwanda as a country, before joining the Global Forum, was not necessarily aware of the progress made globally on this tax transparency agenda. And what we are trying to achieve with Rwanda is that Rwanda ensures the availability of the information that is relevant for tax authorities, and that Rwanda also builds its own framework and capacity so as to be able to request for information to other tax authorities in foreign countries when it is auditing or assessing its taxpayers' affairs. So at the end of the implementation process, we believe Rwanda will be in a position to gather more information on cross-border transactions of its taxpayer and therefore raise more revenue.
The discussions will last for 5 days and the assessment itself will take place in November this year. do stay with us because we have more programs coming your way. I thank you so much for joining us for this edition of the news. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.